Major General Rajesh Kumar for joining us in that discussion. But we move over to the United States with more news. Protests have erupted in Austin, Texas against Senate Bill 17, a controversial land ownership bill that restricts individuals and companies from certain countries from buying property in Texas. The bill, passed by the Texas House, targets nations designated as security threats, including China, Iran, North Korea and Russia. Advocates claim it protects Texas's land and resources from hostile foreign interests. But opponents, including the Texas Asian American Association, said it could fuel racial discrimination and damage the state's economy. Protesters marched to the governor's mansion, pledging to fight the bill, even if Governor Greg Abbott signs it into law. If enacted, it would take effect from September the 1st of this year, affecting future land purchases only. Let's take a listen in to some of the protesters in Texas.
If you make a law targeting certain people just because their origin, their country, where they come from, that's a racist. This is a racist bill. Asian American, we have 2 million in Texas, but we've been in Texas over 100 years. We built Texas, we built America. This is our country too. So I cannot stand any racist bill against our community. I have to make our community to be aware and speak out, speak loud.
I think that under the disguise of national security and Texas's best interest, they are passing a racist bill that, quite candidly, to push immigrants out of Texas, to make life more dangerous, to take away rights one by one.
We're joined now by Quinton A. Hitchcock, USA Affairs expert located in Houston. Quinton, thank you very much for coming onto the program. Can we get your insight on this? Why does Texas want to stop people from China, Russia, Iran and North Korea from buying land at all in the southern state?
Because it's a national security issue. I'll flip this around for you. Would it be okay for a Pakistani company or a Pakistani national to buy property or to buy land in India? Absolutely not. And there's nothing racist about SB 17. There's nothing discriminatory about this bill. Governor Abbott, just like any other United States governor, is elected to protect the citizens of that state and to make it easier for those people to buy land and property. We've had instances where the Chinese government has funneled money through companies, through citizens, to buy vast lands and vast amounts of property in not just Texas, but in other states, also Florida. So there's nothing racist about this. This is a national security issue. And as you just mentioned, this only applies to countries that pose a national security threat to the United States. Right now, that's Iran, North Korea, China, and
Russia, I believe.
Iran, and yeah, a couple other countries. So this is not controversial, nor should it be. In politics, we call this an 80-20 issue, where 80% see this as a common sense issue, and the 20% don't see it that way. So I don't really stand with the protesters on this one.
Okay, critics would say, Quinton, that foreign buyers only own a very, very small proportion of Texas land. So what real threat are lawmakers trying to fix here, and particularly in the state of Texas?
We have had documented instances where foreign companies purchase land and homes and property, again, not just in Texas, but around the country, and use it to smuggle drugs, use it to operate criminal enterprise, use it for espionage and spy purposes. I'm not saying that's what everybody's going to be doing. I want to be very clear that this is obviously, an issue that's few and far between, but this is a issue where if we did not take this measure, either in Texas or any other state, it opens the door for adversaries of this country to come in and wreak havoc on our country. So I feel like the governor of Texas, the governor of any state, any elected leader in the United States has an obligation to protect the citizens of this state. Again, it would be so difficult for me to go buy property and land in any other country in this world. It seems like every other country has the right to protect and defend their borders, but for some reason, much of the left in this country seems to feel differently, that the United States, should just have open borders and not make any security precautions to protect citizens already in this country.
This bill, Quinton, it lets the governor add more countries later to the list. Critics say the ban discriminates by nationality. How likely is it to be struck down in a court of law, maybe, do you think?
I don't think it's likely at all. This is passed by some pretty overwhelming measures in both the House and Senate chamber. I know the governor wants to add an amendment that gives him unilateral authority to add other countries to the list, as you just said. Now, how this plays out in the courts, that's a great question. I don't expect that this is going to be something that gets shot down. But I think, again, this is something in this country that's going to have overwhelming support. So we're just going to have to wait and see. But there's a lot of other states in this country that are going to quickly follow should this be successful in Texas.
Quinton A. Hitchcock, thank you very much for joining us. Always valuable to have your insights on the program. We now move on. More than 100